It all began innocently enough. Emily's best friend, Natalie, was getting married, and they had organized a bachelorette party in Miami. "It'll just be 2 days," Emily assured me with a disarming smile as she packed her suitcase. "We'll drink cocktails, visit the beach, and celebrate Natalie's final days as a single woman. Nothing crazy." I laughed and kissed her goodbye, thinking nothing of it. After all, we trusted each other, or so I thought. When Emily returned, something felt off. At first, I couldn't pinpoint what it was. She was quieter than usual, distracted, as if her mind were somewhere far away. That evening, as we sat on the couch, her phone buzzed. She quickly grabbed it, laughed nervously, and set it face down on the table. "Who was that?" I asked casually. "Oh, just Natalie," she replied a little too quickly. She's still giddy from the trip. I didn't push further. Perhaps I should have. Instead, I brushed it off, convincing myself I was imagining things. A week passed, then another. Emily's behavior remained strange. She was jumpier, more distant, and began staying up late scrolling on her phone until the early hours. She avoided intimacy, brushing off my advances with excuses about being tired or stressed. The change was undeniable. Finally, one evening, I decided to confront her. "Emily," I said, standing in the doorway of our bedroom with my arms crossed, "what's going on? You've been acting weird since Miami." She looked up from her phone, startled. "What? Nothing's going on. Why would you think that?" "I'm not sure," I admitted, sitting at the edge of the bed. "But you're not yourself. Did something happen during the trip?" Her face paled for a moment before she forced a smile. "Of course not. You're just being paranoid, Ryan." I wanted to believe her. I really did, so I let it go. 2 days later, everything changed. Emily had gone for a walk, and I was preparing to leave when I realized my car keys were missing. I checked the usual spots, the kitchen counter, by the door, in the drawer, but they were nowhere to be found. Then I remembered Emily had borrowed my car earlier because hers had broken down. I went to her purse, which was hanging by the coat rack, to grab the keys. That's when I found it. A receipt from Miami Incorporated Tattoo Studio. The date matched her bachelorette trip. Emily didn't have any tattoos, at least not when she came home. When she returned, I held up the receipt. "Can you explain this?" Her eyes widened as she stammered. "Oh, Natalie dared me to get a tiny one. It's nothing, really." "Where?" I asked, my skepticism growing. She hesitated before pulling her jeans waistband down slightly, revealing a tiny heart inked near her hip. I studied it closely, but something caught my attention. Inside the heart, a letter was etched, a carefully placed R. "Emily," I said, my voice tightening. "What is this?" Her face flushed, and she shifted uncomfortably before forcing a nervous smile. "I had the artist put the R inside the heart for you." I froze, her words barely registering. "For me?" She bit her lip, avoiding my gaze. "I thought it'd be a cute gesture, for Ryan. It's not a big deal, but it felt like a big deal." My chest tightened as unease crept in. The tattoo wasn't the issue anymore. It was everything the gesture hinted at, everything she wasn't saying. The next day, I decided to get answers. I called Natalie. "Hey, Natalie," I began in a casual tone, masking the tension building inside me. "Quick question. What's with Emily getting a tattoo in Miami?" I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. There was a pause on the other end of the line. "Oh, yeah," Natalie replied, awkwardly. "It was a crazy night. She was pretty inebriated. You know how it is." I wasn't buying it. I knew how Emily was. She wasn't a heavy drinker, and she was certainly not the type to get a tattoo on a whim. My gut was screaming at me, and that night, I did something I never thought I would do. I snooped. While Emily was in the shower, I sat on the couch, trying to shake the unease creeping up on me. That's when a message notification popped up on her phone. Megan's name flashed on the screen. The message itself chilled my blood. I want to see you again. I stared at it for a moment, feeling a knot tighten in my stomach. Something was wrong. I quickly unlocked her phone. She'd changed the passcode since returning from Miami, but I knew her well enough to guess it. It only took 2 tries. I opened the conversation with Megan, but there was only one message. I want to see you again. No context. No explanation. The conversation seemed incomplete. My suspicion grew. I copied the number from the message and saved it to my phone. I didn't know why, but it felt like a breadcrumb I couldn't ignore. When Emily emerged from the shower, I was still holding her phone, trying to compose myself. "Who is Megan?" I asked, my voice sounding more confident than I felt. Her eyes widened briefly, then she masked it with a smile. "Oh, Megan? I know her from work," she said. I didn't believe it for a second. "A coworker? Or a friend?" "Just a friend," she replied, shifting uncomfortably and laughing awkwardly. "You're being paranoid," but that smile, that look in her eyes, didn't convince me. "I don't know, Emily," I said, expressing my doubts. "This doesn't seem like a just a friend situation." Her cheeks flushed slightly, but she quickly dismissed it. "You're overthinking it. There's nothing to worry about." But I wasn't convinced, not in the slightest. The next day, I couldn't shake the feeling. The message, the name Megan, the strange conversation. It kept replaying in my mind. I couldn't just let it go. I called the number I had saved from her phone. My heart pounded in my chest as I listened to the rings. After a few moments, a man answered. "Hello." I swallowed, my voice barely steady. "Hello, I'm looking for Megan." There was a brief pause. "Megan? There's no Megan here, man. You must have the wrong number." I froze, my blood draining from my face. "Sorry for bothering you," I muttered. Hanging up, the weight of what had just happened sank into my gut, demanding answers. I couldn't leave it alone. I had to know. That night, Emily fell asleep on the couch, exhausted after a long day. Her phone was sitting on the coffee table, just a few feet away. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't stop myself. I grabbed her phone, silently praying that I would find something to explain everything away. I quickly unlocked it, my hands trembling. I scrolled through her messages, hoping for a harmless explanation. But when I came to the conversation with Megan, my stomach dropped. The messages were hidden, archived as if she had intentionally tucked them away, so I wouldn't find them. That I tapped to open the conversation, and the first thing that hit me was the date. The weekend she had been in Miami. Megan's first message was clear. "Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you. Can't wait to see you again." I stared at it, my heart racing as I scrolled further. What I saw next made my hand tremble. The contact named Megan wasn't even real. She had assumed a woman's name to conceal the truth. She had been speaking with someone else, a man named Richard. I blinked, trying to process what I was seeing. I took a deep breath and kept reading.
"That was the best night of my life. You were amazing," Emily had written. My throat tightened as I read the rest of the messages. They were more personal, more intimate. She had messaged him, saying how she couldn't stop thinking about him and how he made her feel that I was paralyzed. These were not mere flirtations. These were genuine, raw emotions. Then I saw something that made my blood run cold. She had sent Richard intimate photos and videos of themselves together, naked during the act. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Each image and video was a stark reminder of the betrayal I felt, and my stomach churned. My heart raced as I scrolled, but it didn't stop there. I saw the picture she had sent him of the tattoo, the tiny heart on her hip with the letter R inside. She had claimed it was only for me. She had lied. The tattoo she said was for me was actually meant for Richard. It wasn't a sweet gesture, as she had claimed. It was a symbol of her attachment to him. I sat there, mind racing, staring at the screen. I couldn't process what was happening or what I was seeing. All I knew was that I had been betrayed. My wife, the woman I loved and trusted, had done this in ways I could never have anticipated. I felt like my entire world had collapsed in an instant. The realization hit me hard, but my instincts kicked in. I couldn't let this moment slip away. With trembling hands, I transferred the messages, photos, and videos to my phone. I needed concrete evidence. As the files transferred, each one felt like a punch to the gut, a reminder of her betrayal. Then, without hesitation, I deleted the conversation from her phone. I didn't want her to know that I had uncovered everything. The next morning, I scheduled an appointment with a lawyer. I didn't waste any time. I wanted to file for divorce and protect myself, ensuring that Emily received nothing. The lawyer's office was sterile and cold, but it gave me the clarity I needed. I had worked hard for everything I had, bank accounts, properties, everything, and I wasn't going to let her take it all after what she'd done. The lawyer explained the process, and we discussed how I could protect my assets, making sure Emily would receive nothing. I left the office with a renewed sense of determination. This wasn't going to be easy, but I had taken the first step toward securing my future. Now, I needed to confront Emily. The next and most difficult step was waiting. I knew Emily was out running errands and would be back soon. It felt like the longest wait of my life. I went home, my mind racing with the images of them together in bed, as well as Richard's messages. My hands trembled slightly as I sat at the kitchen table, carefully typing everything into a single text, making sure every word hit hard. I planned to send it to everyone we knew, family, friends, anyone who needed to know the truth. I couldn't keep this secret. She didn't deserve that. I wrote about what happened in Miami, how she lied to me, and how she had betrayed me. I trusted her, and this is how she repaid me. Here is the proof. Everything you need to know about Emily's affair with Richard is available here. I attached the photos, messages, and videos that revealed the truth. My thumb hovered over the send button, wondering what would happen next. As she walked in, I would confront her, and the truth would come out. I waited, the time dragging on, until the sound of the front door opening broke the silence. My heart skipped a beat. Emily had returned home. I took a deep breath, calmed my nerves, and sent the message containing the evidence to our closest friends before turning to face her. I stood there, phone in hand, watching Emily walk in. When she saw me holding the phone, her face fell. "What is going on, Ryan?" she asked, her voice shaky. Without saying anything, I handed her the phone and let her see everything, the photos, the videos, the texts. The betrayal was right in front of her, undeniable. "Emily, what's this?" I demanded, my voice tight with emotion. Her eyes filled with rage and disbelief, flickering between the screen and the floor, unable to meet mine. "I can explain," she stammered. "Please, Ryan." "Explain," I said, disbelief taking over. "You've been lying to me the entire time. Is this what you did behind my back?" "Who is Richards?" I spat. Her face turned pale, and her lips trembled. She opened her mouth to speak, but the words stuck in her throat. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I was drunk. It was only one mistake. It was just for one night. We slept together again the next morning." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "A mistake?" I yelled, furious. "You slept with him twice, Emily. And you gave him a tattoo that you said was for me." Her shoulders shook as she broke down. "I'm sorry, Ryan. I never wanted to hurt you. It was the biggest mistake of my life." I shot back, rage boiling over. "You're lying again, even now. In the messages, you claim it was the best night of your life. Who are you trying to fool?" Her sobs grew louder, but I was done listening. "I can't even look at you right now," I said, straightening up. The coldness in my voice was clear. "You've made your decisions, Emily. Now everyone will know who you truly are." Her face turned white. "What exactly are you talking about?" "I filed for divorce," I said, watching the panic spread across her face. "And I've already sent everything, photos, texts, and videos, to our families and friends. They need to know the truth, and what you did to me." Her mouth dropped open in shock. "You what? Did you send them everything?" she asked, her voice rising in disbelief. "Yes, I replied flatly. This cannot be hidden. You don't get to play the victim here. I didn't want this to happen, she begged, tears streaming freely down her face. Please don't do this, Ryan. But it was too late. The truth had been revealed, and there was no going back. Emily and I didn't speak much after that. Her family saw the photos, texts, and videos, and they were stunned. Nobody came to her defense. My family was shocked too, but they quickly rallied behind me. My friends were also shaken by what she had done. The divorce was finalized. I made sure to protect everything I had worked for, including my house, cars, and bank accounts. She wouldn't receive a dime. Emily eventually walked away with nothing. There was no sense of regret, only the bitter reality of what had happened. She vanished, taking with her the life we had once known. Time passed, and the pain gradually subsided. The person I loved was gone, but I was growing stronger with each passing day. The truth had set me free, and with it I moved forward.